It's the nature of transformation. The moment we decide, the moment we make a decision for ourselves, fear is going to rise up. Fear will be a player, but when we understand that that fear is simply a sign and a signal that I'm about to grow, I'm about to leave my comfort zone. So you have a comfort zone. I have a comfort zone. Your vision is outside of your comfort zone. You make a decision for that vision. You start taking action towards that vision. And as Henry David Thoreau said, there's an invisible boundary. And most often what happens is we bump up against that invisible boundary. It shows up as fear, delay, dissuasion, distraction. Most people bump up against that boundary. And because they don't have structures of support and awareness, the gravitational pull back to the familiar shows up. And they go back to the life that they were living. This is where we get the expression that some people live 90 years, other people live 1 year 90 times. They keep repeating the same patterns over and over again. So when we hit up against that invisible boundary, it's not a stop sign. It just means I'm about to grow. I'm about to go beyond, to transform, to go beyond the current form. So there are 4 hidden barriers for success. These come out of the work with Gay Hendricks, the work of Gay Hendricks. Important to know these 4 hidden barriers because chances are at least one of them is running inside of you. So as you're listening for these 4, we want to become aware of them because when we're aware of them, they start to lose their power. If we're unaware of them, they're going to pull us back, that gravitational pull, subconsciously back to the current. So 4 hidden barriers of success, 4 ways generally that we stop our dreams. Why are they hidden? Because they're in the subconscious. We can't see them. So the first one is this feeling of being fundamentally flawed. So this is this basic human feeling of separation from our source where somehow we're just not good enough. You heard Gary say, yeah, maybe it works for Stacey. It works for Stacey, but is it going to work for me? So somehow we believe that we're not good enough. We're not deserving. It's a lie. But it's a way, it's a barrier that collapses us back to self-sabotage and our current results. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough. The second one is a feeling of disloyalty or abandonment. So this is a fear that if I go for my dream, somehow I'm going to be disloyal to my tribe in some way. This is a reptilian brain. If you can imagine, it's at one point in our history, being part of a community, part of a tribe meant survival. If you got banished from your tribe, it was like sure death. That reptilian part of our brain. So if somehow that I go for my dream, I'm going to be abandoning my family, people who are important to me. I'm going to be disloyal to them. I really shouldn't be successful. I might lose my friends. Maybe they won't want to be around me. We're just noticing if there's any part of us that's resonating with this at some level. The third one is the fear of outshining. So somebody important to you in your life, you know, if I'm more successful than my sister, maybe she'll feel bad, or my parents, if I outshine them, that somehow there might create some discord in a relationship. Let me tell you how this one showed up for me a couple of Christmases ago. If you would have asked, do I have fear of outshining? I would have been like, no, I'm good. We stay in the noticing what we're noticing to notice where we have these blocks inside of us. Jeff is a wonderful cook, and he does, I like to say 90%, but let's be honest, 99.999% of the cooking in our house. When we say, I'm cooking tonight, it means we're getting takeout. And part of his family tradition, he learned how to cook from his dad. His dad was also a great chef. And his dad was living in Alberta, and we started this tradition on Christmas Eve where Jeff's dad would come over Christmas Eve, and he would make a turkey and all the fixings, and they would do that together. Dave would make the cranberry sauce, and we would have Christmas Eve dinner, beautiful meal, and our family tradition is then Christmas Day we go over to my mom's, and my mom makes the turkey. And we're doing this for a couple of years, and Jeff's dad passed away. And he says on Christmas Eve, I want to make a turkey, and we can invite your parents over, and because my parents would come over Christmas Eve as well. And I said, it's probably not necessary. We don't need to do that. And she's like, well, I think, this is important to me. And I realized within myself, the reason I didn't want to do that is because Jeff was such a good cook. I didn't want my mom to feel bad about her turkey dinner on Christmas Day. And my mom's just a fine cook. It's not that she's a bad cook, but I didn't want her to feel bad that Jeff was making this beautiful meal and it was going to somehow outshine her day. So I was asking Jeff to play small. Don't do what you would love, because I don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. Where in your life are you maybe playing small, unconsciously, because you don't want your friends, your family, somebody in your life that's important to you to feel less, so you're being less of yourself? We want to see these in ourselves, because it wasn't just about the turkey. I started, where else in my life am I playing small? Am I holding myself back? If we're doing it in one area, chances are we're doing it in another. The fourth hidden barrier of success is the fear of the burden of success. If I actually go for my dream, it's going to mean a lot more work. If I actually generated $1 million, how am I going to pay all those taxes? Am I going to have to manage people? What's that going to look like? So we believe that if I go for my dream, it's going to create some sort of burden. It's probably not true, but it's a hidden barrier where we play small. Raise your hand if at least one of those resonates with you at some level. Yeah. So what do we do with it? We notice what we're noticing. We want to shine the light of awareness. Oh, I see this inside of me. So we can repattern it, shift that operating system. One of the most common paradigms that keeps us from trying is this one. What if I fail? What if I fail? How many of you have ever had a failure in your life? Look around the room, you're in good company. Yeah, here's the thing, you guys. We learn to walk by falling down. When we're little kids and we want to walk, we stand up, we're a little wobbly, we fall down. What do we do next? We try again. In that process of learning to walk by falling down, never in that process do we say, hey, guess I'm not meant to be a walker. Just quit on that dream. But something happens to us as adults where we stop giving ourselves permission to fail, to fall down. So common hour thinking, what if I fail? Mastery thinking. The risk of regret is the greatest risk of all. The number one regret on people on their deathbed is not the things they did, it's the things they didn't do. It's really easy to look at people who have had some success and think they've done it without fear of failure. So let's look at a few famous failures. Miss Oprah Winfrey, fired by television executives because she was not fit for TV. Imagine if she would have taken, oh, you're fired from this, better go find a new dream. Chicken Soup for the Soul. Have you ever read a Chicken Soup for the Soul book? Yeah. The proposal for the first book was rejected 144 times. Most of us get one rejection and we go, oh, not doing that again. Steven Spielberg, rejected from USC Film School 3 times. Anybody had a Starbucks coffee? Who would ever pay that for a coffee? Investors and banks didn't think anybody would, rejected 242 times. Walt Disney, fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination and having no original ideas. You were told some things as a kid. You're not creative, you're not good enough, be practical, be realistic. Imagine if Walt Disney would have said, yeah, I guess I'm not creative. Harry Potter. That novel was rejected by 12 publishing houses. Do you think they're kicking themselves right now? Henry Ford failed at 3 different businesses before he started Ford Motor Company at age 53. Condition-based thinking, what if I fail? Mastery thinking, fear and failure are prerequisites to great dream builders.